Hey, what's up guys, Ref here. So today we're going to go on quite the journey. We're going to go down some crazy rabbit holes, and instead of sugar, spice, and everything nice, today we got some jealousy, hypocrisy, and a little splash of schizophrenia as well. So you can see around the screen here, we're going to be talking about Tatsumaki a bit. So there's two related hard-hitting questions we have to answer today. First, is this 28-year-old fictional character a literal child? And extending upon that, question number two, is it pedo bait for a 22-year-old adult woman to cosplay as this 28-year-old fictional character? Now, the plot of that manga series might sound familiar because, well, it is. So about a year ago, we covered this tweet from the cosplayer Yuki. So she's here with this other cosplayer named Rose. This is Yuki right here, and she was attacked for this post. People claiming that she was pedo baiting with this Tatsumaki cosplay because she's 4'11". And for clarification, she is 22 years old. Now, this resurfaced this argument again after Dev made this tweet saying, remember when this 4'11", 22-year-old cosplayer was shit on by leftoids because, despite being of age, her existence promoted pedophilia. And to be fair, honestly, it's not just far left people who are doing this. There's also like a lot of like trad LARPers on social media who are also canceling her, and we'll see an example of that in this video as well. But this reignited that whole conversation, leading to this quote retweet with this individual saying, I do think that if a dude is into this, he's probably a latent pedophile. So besides the blatant infantilization of a 22-year-old adult woman by claiming she's a kid, and by consequence, undeserving of love or attraction, this works to once again water down the term pedophilia to something that it is not. Pedophilia is not an attraction to an adult, nor is it to specific physical features. It's an attraction to a child. And the fact that people like this continue to water down that term, it's only aiding pedophiles. It is only helping to water down the term to their benefit. And they go on to say other crazy stuff here. You're not going to believe this stuff. It says, her being 22 doesn't really matter when the entire reason you coom over her is because she could pass very easily for a child. It's the IRL equivalent of, yes, this character looks like a 5-year-old, but she's actually a 9,000-year-old demon. So, number one, this logic is completely insane and dangerous. What they're saying with this first part here is that age is just a number. This is a defense that actual predators use to attempt to have sexual relations with underage kids because they try to justify it by saying despite their age, they look older than they are. That's something creeps use as a defense, and that's what they're using to demonize Yuki in this situation. I've got news for you. This creepy defense is completely and utterly disgusting, and adulthood is not determined by something like physical characteristics. Adulthood is defined by age and the ability to consent to things. Okay, this is not it. And this idea here that, this is an IRL equivalent of this 9,000-year-old demon defense, these things don't equate. The reason this whole situation exists in fiction is because ages applied to fictional characters can get very messy and confusing. That's why there's examples like that. There's no fluid motion of age in fictional content. You can have a character say one day it's 18, the next day say it's 72, and then the next day say it's 5. You can change its body, you can do all those things. These are things you can't do in real life. That's why there's a difference. And I can't believe I have to sit here and explain the difference between fictional characters aging versus real life human beings aging to an adult. It's embarrassing that I have to explain this to people. But going off of that, this is really the craziest arc in this entire saga today. So this individual would quote retweet Dev's post saying, I'm also an adult who is small and short and childish, but you don't see me posed in fishnets next to my stuffed animals, and that is because whether you like it or not, that's a very obvious fetish thing, and it's not just it's something you should not do. Okay, so here's the whole situation here. This claim that having things like stuffed animals on your bed makes you pedo bait is not something new. Actually, my own fiance was accused of that a couple years back when she had her own place. She took a picture of her bed and it had plushies on it, and people were saying that she was pedo baiting with that, and then by default that I was a pedo for being attracted to an adult woman with plushies on her bed, which is absolutely insane. If you've actually been in the bedroom of a woman in her 20s, there is a more than likely chance you will find plushies in their bedroom. It's completely normal. But Yuki would point out something else, saying this is not even her room, it was the other cosplayer's room, and they didn't think to remove every quote-unquote childish item in the room before taking the photo because they don't fetishize everything. And that's the point here. Like, this person's another, like, trad LARPer on the internet. These people are super Puritan and think everything's degenerate. Ironically, are some of the biggest coomers in the world because everything in their minds is sexual. To the point where you think plushies existing on a bed is something that is a fetish. It's very, very weird, and of course, you know how that goes. You bring up a very valid point, and their only response is to block you. But things would take a turn. So here's their account. They're a Latter-day Saint. They sometimes cosplay as well. Yes, interesting. And they're 25, and they also have a link to their Patreon that has all of their cosplays on it. So if you go to their Patreon, I'm showing this to clarify these are public posts. This is not paywalled. These are freely posted on her Patreon. They are public. I'm not posting anything I'm not supposed to. Remember, this was the girl saying there was something pedo bait-like about posting photos of yourself with plushies. Here she is posting, holding a plushie with a bed full of plushies in the background. Oh, but it gets worse, ladies and gentlemen. If you're at all familiar with anything going on here, you probably just fell out of your chair. She is cosplaying as Elia from the Fate series. Probably one of the most popular characters among the lolicon community and probably one of the most sexualized lolly characters outside of anything that is just straight up hentai, okay? The anime has some wild scenes featuring this character, and here she is cosplaying as this character with, of course, a wall of plushies in the background. Yeah, a bit of a hypocrite. And she would private briefly, and then she came back just about an hour ago and made this post, because people were pointing out that, these claims of childish outfits. By the way, let's just clarify, I hope none of you have ever seen a child wearing fishnets, okay? That is not something a child should ever wear. And to claim that an outfit with fishnets is childish is really, really weird. But nonetheless, people were arguing about that in replies, so she posted this earlier today saying, the best part about being a non-lewd cosplayer is that when slurs have these kinds of nonsensical criticisms of me, and I can just show it to my mom and she can say, wow, that's dumb, because she's cool with my cosplays and my Patreon. I don't know what this person's deal is. I think all of this just boils down to jealousy. They're jealous of Yuki and her success as a cosplayer, and it's just rotted her brains to the point where she's a massive hypocrite and looks stupid and overly hostile and aggressive on Twitter. But moving on, here's another quote we're going to talk about. This individual saying, let's be serious. The problem is not her height/body. It's the fact that she's dressing up like a character that looks like a child and sexualizing herself while being very aware that her audience is mostly weirdos. So Yuki would reply with the only logical thing, saying, I'm sorry, but could you please explain how Tatsumaki looks like a child? Yes, please explain to me how this 28-year-old fictional character looks like a child. And this whole confusion about what a lolly is or what fictional characters versus real-life people is, this whole debate, really encapsulated here. We're going to return back to Yuki in a second. I saw this the other day, an artist posting this. It's their Rebecca artwork and saying, don't know how people called her a lolly. She genuinely just built like a short adult woman. And I came in here with the reply saying, congratulations, you just described a lolly. Now, typically, a lot of people, I don't like when someone sees like an artist, for example, say something stupid and they'll look at their art and go, wow, your art's stupid, your art's bad too, blah, blah, blah. Their art's fine. I think they make nice art. And I hope moments like this can be a learning lesson. Like, this is a lolly character. You're making lolly artwork, and that's totally okay. There's nothing wrong with that. And I'm sorry that you've been fed so much misinformation about this topic that you don't even realize you're engaging in the same behavior that you're likely judging others for. And maybe this can be a learning lesson and something good can be taken away, but given the history of how this normally goes, I highly doubt it. But moving on from there, we had a reply to a quote retweet, like similar to my reply saying, yeah, exactly, you're almost there. That's how most lollies are built. Where this individual said this, saying, lolly is not when petite women, you kitty diddler / literally pedophilia. And again, inserting Yuki's cosplay photo back into this argument. But I wanted to point out something interesting here. So I made this tweet the other day with Rebecca and showing that according to the lore, Rebecca weighed about 40 kilograms. And I said, imagine. And Yuki replied to this saying she just like me for real. And I got some free advice. I think the biggest power move anyone would expect at this situation, your next cosplay has to be Rebecca. It has to be Rebecca. It's an adult age lolly character. It fits your theme. Your fans would love it, and it would piss off all these annoying people. It's a guaranteed hit on Twitter, but that's just my observations. But to end this on a little bit more of a serious note, she obviously was dealing with a lot of annoying people, and she had to readdress this issue by, making it very clear that she does not support pedo baiting or pedophilia or anything, and this is just an innocent cosplay of an adult cosplaying as an adult character, and there's nothing more to it than that. And you can pause and read this. This is a long text here, going through all the points, honestly lining up pretty similar to everything we talked about in this video. And quite frankly, she probably said it a lot more eloquently than I did. And that's the thing with Yuki I can definitely admire, is she claps back at these people and does a very good job of it. And she has every right to say things back to these people who are accusing her of something that is absolutely heinous. Okay, let's not lose that at the end of the day, because these things happen so much. Being accused of pedo baiting or catering to pedophiles is a very, very serious thing, and you have every right to defend yourself to whatever extent you feel necessary to brush off people like that. But that's going to do it for this video. I will put a link to her Twitter account in the description if you want to check out her stuff. And yeah, please share all of your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.